Hello, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and I read the comments from time to time, and one of the comments that I've been seeing is, whoa, Muta, let's get some sleep going on. Mutahar, what's going on with your eyes? They look like a raccoon, they're sunken in. Now, I want to just address this comment because it really does come from a place of good intentions. But 5 years ago, you probably, if you're an old head, remember a video that I made titled, I'm Scared of Falling Asleep. And there's no hyperbole about it. One of my biggest fears is actually just sleeping. Now, for anybody that remembers, I do suffer from chronic actual sleep paralysis, okay? I don't know if there's an official diagnosis for it, but I have a real problem with sleep paralysis. Years ago, I made a video where I talked about falling asleep in Minecraft, and I actually fell asleep in Minecraft for a week, moved it up to a month, damn near actually slept in Minecraft for months. I just used to put on a VR headset, look up at my Minecraft stars, and somehow that would help me actually wake up without having any real problems. Except, of course, that all kind of stopped working, and it also wasn't really sustainable. You shouldn't be sleeping with a fucking screen attached to your head. You also shouldn't be reliant on destroying your GPU and having you render ray-traced Minecraft, even when most of the time you're just sleeping through it. Anyways, all of that aside, ladies and gentlemen, all of that out of there, I've experimented with a lot of things, okay? Incense candles, for one. I've even bought one of those projectors that put the stars on your actual, ceiling. I've even slept with the TV on. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, to no avail, this system, this sleep paralysis that I've had has not actually really cured. Now, to give you an idea, what is sleep paralysis, okay? So I feel like for a lot of people walking into this, you might be wondering, what does that even entail? So let me give you an idea. When you're sleeping and your eyes are closed, you're basically off in La La Dreamland. Your consciousness turns off, okay? Now we can get real existential. What is consciousness, Muta? What is life? Well, every time you wake up, okay? I like to think that, a part of you kind of dies when you fall asleep, like you're very close to actual death, and you wake up. One of the questions people ask is, are you even the same person you are yesterday? You can get into a whole bunch of that, okay? You can probably sit down and wonder, man, the cells in your body change every week. Are you still the same person? Is the soul still the same? The point of the matter is, your consciousness kind of turns off. Now, sleep paralysis is when you wake up a little bit like this in the mornings or at night or whatever, and you can't move your body. So, for anybody wondering why I'm afraid of sleep, that literally is the biggest fear that I have right there. For most of my sleeping life, a lot of the times when I doze off and I wake up, there are aspects of my body, in fact, complete paralysis occurs where I can't actually move my fingers, my hands, my arms. I can't even speak or do anything. So to give you an idea of how this works, I kind of want to describe the worst attack that I've probably ever had, which, has been recent. It's not something that, genuinely leaves me completely screaming or whatever, right? But to give you an idea of how bad this can kind of get. I wake up, all right? I am totally conscious of the morning, right? My eyes are open. I can see that the sun is up. I actually can think in my head. I actually have thoughts. When you're dreaming and you wake up and you try to remember your dream, you can only really remember 1% of it. Everything else is just a giant blur. No, this is what I'm actually thinking. I am as conscious as I am right now. I'm as cogent and coherent as I am right now in my head. However, when I wake up, I can't open my mouth. I can't make a noise. I can't speak to anyone. And then, of course, you might be like, well, Muta, can you move? No, you cannot move your arms. You cannot move your hands. You cannot move your fingers. You cannot move your toes. You can't really move anything. You're actually trying really hard. And it feels like, you're moving the bones inside your muscles, right? But it's just you can't move your muscles. So it takes me probably at this moment at my worst, around 3 minutes, maybe more, maybe maximum 5 minutes, I would have to imagine, before my body actually starts literally moving, okay? I am for minutes fighting within my body to move my I actually think at this point that I'm probably paralyzed, okay? Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. It's just gotten common. It's something that I've lived it, and I probably can remember that the longest I've been living with it is probably my high school years, maybe late middle school, to be honest here. But I've been dealing with this for a while, and generally at my worst attack, You know, the worst that I've ever had to go with, I actually thought, yeah, maybe I am actually a complete paralyzed person. Maybe I cannot move. Maybe I can't do anything. And yeah, that's pretty much what your body is effectively at. You cannot move or do these basic functions. And when your body wakes up, it literally does feel like a computer. A really old computer is finally booted up, okay? Like it's finally up, it's finally allowed you to move around. That's when it gets super weird. And then you can move your hands and arms around and you can talk. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. Now, sleep paralysis is one of those things where, again, the fear doesn't just come from the idea that you can't move your arms and legs. It also comes from the hallucinations that you come across. Now, I don't want to, make a joke of this and say, yeah, I see fucking people dancing around in front of me while I'm... No, it's not how it works at all, okay? Most of the time, things are kind of a blur. Things, your ears aren't working right. But one of the craziest experiences that I've ever had in this entire phase of sleep paralysis, okay, is, feeling sensations on the back of my neck, okay? There's whispers, there's, things that don't feel right. It doesn't feel good, okay? And maybe the worst fear that I have out of it is somebody's like grabbing my neck and they're gonna snap my neck Sam Fisher style, and that's pretty much the end of it. There are two actual fears that I have. One of them is going completely like black blind, okay? Like I literally open my eyes and see nothing but darkness. That is one of the biggest fears that I have, okay? I've often thought about like what sensation or sense can I remove from my body and still function? And, I can probably live with maybe not hearing, God forbid. I could probably live with a bunch of other things, but losing complete eyesight is one of my biggest fears. And of course, the other fear right after it is not being able to move my arms and legs. So yeah, I am somebody that is completely afraid of falling asleep. Because sleep paralysis is really no joke, okay? Like, it really is not something that you can undersell to somebody that hasn't actually experienced it. There's a good chance that every single person watching this video right now has probably experienced actual sleep paralysis at some point in their life, okay? Even if it's to, like, the most minor degree, where for, like, maybe a few seconds you feel like your body is too sluggish, but everything kicks in. But I hope to God you never have to experience the extreme moments where like you're up conscious and you're just actually waiting for the rest of your body to actually wake up, okay? Like the concept here is your brain wakes up, all right? Your brain is up. Your brain is completely there, I guess, consciously, but the rest of your body just hasn't woken up alongside. And they're just sleeping. They're minding their own business. And so eventually they're like, yeah, shit, I got to get up and do something. That is literally one of the fears that I have. So if you're wondering why I always appear tired, one of the things that I have done for pretty much years on my channel is just basically be up most of the time and work. Okay, that's really the one thing that I like to do. Some Ordinary Gamers is a solo venture for the most part because of this. Because most of the time I like talking with my friends and family, my significant other. I'll play a video game, I'll work on content. But generally speaking, I really do try to sleep as much as I really need to, okay? Whether that be the 8 hours, and in some cases it really is usually less. But yeah. Now, one of the questions that have sort of been brought up to is like, Muda, have you ever went to a doctor for this? Yeah, I have. I've been to a doctor. I've tried several remedies like melatonin, actual sleep assistance. I've literally done like my sleep studies. I've done what I have to, okay? Of course, I've went to a medical professional to confer and ask if there was a fix to it. There really isn't much of a cure to like having sleep paralysis. There really isn't just any cure to this whatsoever. It's just something you kind of have to deal with, it seems, for a while. There's not even a lot of evidence, really, from what I've been researching online, and I've researched this for years, where there really isn't any like effective treatment. There's no Ozempic, or there's no like, Tylenol. There's no special wonder drug that somehow can like sync your body up in this moment in time, okay? It really is just one of those unfortunate scenarios that I really have to deal with, and I probably will have to deal with for the rest of my actual natural life, like until I'm like long dead, whatever that is. This is just a matter of fact that I have to kind of deal with. And ultimately, all I can really do is just put a fucking smile on my face and move on with it. But I do read these comments from time to time, and obviously the video I made 5 years ago, I really kind of expected that at some point later in my life, this whole stuff, all of this would have gotten better. But unfortunately, I am in fact in that same sleep paralysis spot that I was fucking years ago, to be honest with you. And while, previous remedies in my mind, like Minecraft, it really did seem like that probably was more placebo, if anything. But yeah, there really isn't much anybody can do. There's no like special way to sleep. There's no special like ritual to follow that'll like lessen this as much as you can imagine. It's just unfortunately a fact of life for some people. And yeah, one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about was that right there. A lot of people, a lot of you viewers have your hearts totally in the right place, okay? It's like, Muda, get some sleep. Trust me, I would get some sleep all the time, okay? There are times where I literally just want to sleep for like days. Sometimes I think I need to catch up. If I could sleep for like an entire season, like 2-3 months, I could probably catch up my entire life of sleep debt, okay? Or maybe at least make a serious dent in it. But unfortunately, with situations like sleep paralysis and the fear that comes with it, right? One of my fears is falling asleep, waking up, and never having the rest of my body actually come up. Like that worst attack that I've ever had, which lasted, nothing more than a few minutes. The biggest fear is that eventually becoming hours, if not days, if not forever. That's a serious, actual, abject fear that I tend to have. Because I'm not a doctor. I don't know how the human body works, okay? Shit, most doctors don't even really understand how to treat this properly. But yeah, part of me like really believes the longer I'm conscious, the more I'm awake, the more I can get things done, the overall better of a quality of life that I can have. So if I do seem sleep deprived, it's because I am. It's because obviously I am sleep deprived. But there's a good reason that I am sleep deprived. It's because the opposite for me is not as simple as it is for most people. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because I've seen this comment floating around a fair bit, and the heart's always in the right place for people. Like, obviously, we care about each other in this community. But yeah, for anybody that had no idea about this medical problem of mine, at least now you know. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this made you, if any of you suffer from sleep paralysis, hopefully this video made you feel like you're not in any way alone. Like I said, most people watching this video probably experienced an episode of this at some point. But I just have to live with it. It's just a natural thing for me, okay? And you know what? Honestly, it could be way worse, right? Like, I look at so many other medical problems that people have. Like, God forbid somebody has, like, cancer, right? That is far more important and far more serious than some guy waking up and not being able to move his arms and hands for, at worst, a few minutes, okay? It's a scary situation, but obviously, I don't think it's a life-threatening, illness or situation that anybody can have. It in the grand scheme of things, when I compare it to the worst illnesses in the world, it seems more like a nuisance, if anything. But hopefully you understand why I'm a sleepy little guy all the time. But as long as that doesn't interfere with my day-to-day life, my work, my content, anything, I'm usually fine with it. Ben, I do genuinely give a real thank you to people who have raised this, up to me in the comments. Okay, I know it comes from a great place. I know it comes from a good place, but I need to also respond back and kind of fill you guys in on something that happens. Anyways, hopefully in the next couple days, I'll be talking about some crazy nuisance streamers. I'll be talking about, some good old content about gaming. I'll be talking about some good old computer stuff, maybe some malware stuff, a whole host of content, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.